Hello and welcome along to the ProjectCars2 Virtual Racing League, where today we are continuing with the Xbox Championship that's been running for quite some time now. It's the touring cars, of course, and we are fast approaching the end of the season. You can see the calendar up on screen there. Nurburgring Sprint Short Circuit is up tonight. It's round 9 of 10, so we've only got Brands Hatch GP left to go after this one, and all the drivers will be really hoping to get a good result here to try and challenge for the positions that they're fighting for in the last round. It'll make their last round at Brands Hatch very much easier if they get a good result here tonight, and for some drivers it could be all over after tonight too, because Subrosa is in the lead with 461 points, and mathematically, well, he pretty much has won it already, I think, mathematically, but he will definitely consolidate his champion position if he does well here tonight, and BDCC Dan doesn't. Roger the Dodger is really aiming for second place at the moment, with D-Man and Chris Dorsey fast approaching too. They've been having some cracking results recently. And then we've got Stuart Davis, Alex CDL and Scuderia Sam all in the mix, with Luke McGee not far behind at all there. That's a great little midfield battle going on. Big Bad Wolf, JB and Cherry Berry as well. And then in the manufacturers driving standards, there's still all to play for too in most of them. I mean, the Renault one's pretty much wrapped up with Sabrosa there, but D-Man and Chris having a great little scrap, and then Stuart Davis and Scuderia Sam yet to resolve their fight. Roger the Dodger has been very much the form man in the Mercedes there, but a few Mercedes drivers coming dipping in and out of the league, but Roger's the only one who's found any consistent pace with it. So we'll have to wait and see how it all goes here today at Nurburgring Sprint Shorts, and there's two races as ever, of course. And the first race the drivers have had to qualify for, and then the second race, two 15-minute races. The second race is a random starting grid position, which hopefully over the championship has averaged out in terms of the luck factor of where you get put on the grid. And of course the team standings as well, that's all to play for at the top two, it's very close. So the starting grid looks like this. It's Joe Brown just ahead of Sabrosa there on the front row, and then Alex CDL and Crunky. Stuart Davis, Roger the Dodger, Scuderia Sam come next, and then it's Chris Doherty with uncharacteristic position there for Chris. He's usually a little bit higher up than that in the Astra, and then it's Luke McGee, the Scotsman, down there just ahead of Free Gazelle, and we know Free Gazelle likes to run long in race one without pitting, so we'll have to see what happens. And they're on the grid now, and we'll have to see what happens here today as Joe Brown starts on pole position just ahead of Sabrosa, and away they go now. The revs bouncing off the rev limiter. Alex CDL's had a good start there, but look at Crunky in the yellow BMW who skies his way through the field there, and he's leading the pack now as they come down into turn one. And the other BMW, Scuderia Sam, on the outside as Joe Brown and Sabrosa do battle on the inside there. There's a Mercedes getting in the mix, that must be Roger the Dodger, I think. And then there's Alex CDL, and Crunky's going for the lead, but Joe Brown's managed to get in the leads here. Crunky's battling with Sabrosa now, and Scuderia Sam and Alex CDL there with, I think that's Chris Doherty in the Astra in the mix there too. And out down the inside goes Sabrosa on Crunky as they head round one of the hairpins here as they cut through now onto the short version of this circuit. And Crunky's still not giving up, he's still battling away with some of the front runners in this championship. We have to say the BMW hasn't traditionally been front runners, but they have fantastic starts. And Scuderia Sam making a move on Roger Dodge, nearly making contacts there, and there's been contact in the back. There's Alex CDL spinning in the orange Astra. I think he made contact with Chris Doherty possibly there, and we're still on Crunky here. He's in third place now behind Joe and Subrosa, with Roger the Dodge still behind him. The Scuderia Sam looking down the inside of Roger the Dodger, but I think it's more of a distraction technique. If anything, it might have worked. I think there's contact there. I think Roger the Dodger made contact with Crunky. I think Crunky's round. Yes, he is. There's Stuart Davis making his way through the chicane now. He's just behind Alex CDL, and Lukey McGee is just behind them all, but Crunky has fallen all the way to 10th and last position now. The pack comes onto the start-finish straight, and you've got Chris Doherty just in front there of Roger the Dodger. Scuderia Sam trying to break the toe there in third, and it was all kicking off in the first lap there, wasn't it, Alex?
Yeah, really kicking off. The Astros went backwards. You see Chris going defensive from Mercedes. Mercedes probably try and do a cutback. Chris covers that nicely. As it's very quick left hand, you see Alex doing the same from BMW Free Gazelle, but Free Gazelle had a great start to get up to, I think it's 6th place, where the Astros went backwards. So we see the two McGanns of Joe and Sabrosa. You see 5-second time penalty for causing collision. That'll be on Cronky for Roger. But the two favourite cars and are up in the lead as to expect, and that's a great move there from Stu, just going on the inside of Free Gazelle, trying to get away from Luke McGee and try and catch a teammate. But he's gone wide, he's in the gravel trap, and that's going to allow Free Gazelle to go up on the inside into the little right hand kink, and he's already made it. But will Stu try and get back in the brakes? cut away to Sabrosa, still chasing Joe hard.
Yes, Bruce is really trying to pile of pressure on Joe here. These two drivers have certainly been two of the fastest in the league, and there's contact in the background. Who's that with? That's Luke McGee's Freegazelle's been round. He's doing donuts now for the crowd. He's spinning his BMW the right way round again, and that's Stuart Davis. He's managed to stay ahead of that lot, but I think there was contact of some sort there, and now you can see the Scotsman and the Englishman banging wheels going down the straight there. No quarter given between either of them, with Crunky lurking in the background waiting to pick off any scraps here, and Stuart Davis got the inside line as they head down into turn one now, hard on the brakes downhill, and Luke McGee, they're just locking up slightly, but will he have the inside for the second bit? He does. Stuart Davis leaves him room. Crunky's trying to get on the inside now. These three all battling away here, and it's still Luke McGee just ahead, and he's in a bit of a BMW sandwich there, or is it an Astra sandwich? I never quite can tell. Oh, it's getting very tight, and Crunky just about has to give way there, and I think he was forced to give way more than anything. He was sort of sliding. You can see the smoke pouring off his torched rubber tyres there, and I think that's now we're right on board with Chris Doughty. Yes, we are, and that's Roger the Dodger just up ahead. That was a great little scrap, wasn't it?
Yeah, good scrap there, but Cronky's getting properly bullied in the BMW. He's been hit twice now and down in ninth, so he has to wonder what he has to do. He was only having a look and he got pushed off. But like I said, with Chris now chasing the Mercedes with Roger, Roger's really gelled well with that Mercedes. We see Sabrosa pitting, he usually does this in the first race. Tries to pit early and tries to get the undercut of most of the field, just see if it works. Right? It's worked so far in the championship. But see Alex going through, we'll have BMWs of Stu going through, and then also Loopy in the other Astra. So it's a long old pit this has cut back to Chris. Roger locking up it, both going through the gravel. It's like a rallycross race in that first bit. But Roger's just still got a bit of a lead over Chris. It's about car length, but one little mistake and it'll be easy for him to catch up. And you also got to remember, as we see Cronky going through, you got Alex and Stu be chasing them down as well. They're not too far behind.
Yeah, that's a good point. That could definitely become a four-way fight even soon. We'll have to keep a close eye on that. But Roger the Dodger has to bear in mind that his main rival in this championship, BDC Sedan, is not racing in this race today. So he needs to get all the points he can to make sure that he's got a good chance of beating BDC Sedan at the last round. So Roger the Dodger here may be playing a percentage game, but of course Chris Dawes in his own little battle with his Irish friend D-Man, isn't he? So these two will be thinking about the championship, and Chris Dawes, though, was thinking about getting this position. Oh, banging wheels going around the last corner there, very forceful manoeuvre going on. Roger the Dodger was not given an inch, and now they're still side by side going over the start-finish line, heading down the straight.
Yeah, super close there, side by side like you said, and the person enjoying this will be Alex behind him watching these two battle, and also Scudero Sam in second place as Roger cut the nose of Chris there, trying to fend. Big jump there over the first corner, then through the gravel traps, proper rallycross style there. But Roger keeps the place, keeps the point to see Alex now down in fourth, on board now, sees them ahead. He'll be really pushing, trying to catch them, those two guys up, so that could be a podium, and really helpful for him as he missed Older earlier in the season. A bit lonely at the moment, he's just got dreams of battling with those guys at the moment.
Yeah, he's pushing hard though, and we know how much pace Alex EDL has when he's really got the bit between his teeth, and so has Stuart Davis as well in the other orange car. But he's got Lupin McGee still for company. These two very much finding themselves on the same bit of tarmac quite a lot, not just in this championship of course, but in the PS4 league too. So these two really do know each other quite well, probably sick of one another by now actually. But this battle here with Chris Dawes and Rogers really allowing Scuderia Sam. Where's Roger? Well, it was Roger then. He was off in the field somewhere. I don't know if there was a bit of a coming together, because now Alex CDL's all over the back of Chris Doughty, and Roger there deciding to get out of trouble slightly by pitting. But I was going to say, this is allowing Scuderia Sam just to have a bit of a free ticket here as a second.
Yeah, like I said, must have been an instant there as Alex pulls out. Have a look. Chris defends again. He'll probably do his usual trick, cut the corners off, straight line it. Oh no, he's deep. He's really deep. He's out braking himself. Let's go. Alex go alongside. The gravel, Alex does cut back like he would, and he's ahead, so big mistake there from Chris. That drops him down to fourth. So two mistakes in 2 laps. We didn't see the other one with Roger, but you have to assume as Roger was coming off the old track, it looked like. But that's dropped him down to 4th place, luckily, so he hasn't really lost many spots, if any.
Yeah, we can't blame the drivers for liking the Nordschleife, but I think in these cars on this track today, I think it'd be better to stay away from it. And Roger very nearly, like you say, ended up on it. But he's in the pits. We'll have to see how that pans out for him, because of course he has taken his pit stop now. So in race 2, Roger will be one to watch for sure there. But Alex CDL now really in the thick of it, and Chris Doherty knows as well, being a racing driver in real life, you can't make those sort of mistakes when you've got someone like Alex CDL right behind you who's going to punish you for it. But he's staying with Alex now, so this battle hopefully will run a little bit, and we'll see a nice little scrap between them. Meanwhile, Joe Brown out in the lead, he's stretched his advantage to just over 2 seconds now.
Sam's basically just bolted from these two. As you see Chris sticking to the back of the Astra of Alex. Alex not defending as hard as Chris is doing. He's just going to take his normal line. Didn't go deep, they both take the corner nicely. It's a hell of a drop in that first corner. You see the nose just hitting the floor. Alex goes a bit wide there. That's going to allow Chris to get a better run out on him. Stays defensive. Chris having to look around the outside. That'd be brave if he drives around the outside. Ooh, looks like a bit of a mistake there from Alex. Keeps the corner though. Chris was a bit slower there. So we see the leader Joe Brown on his own. Looks like he might have made a mistake as Sam's caught up quite nicely. He's only 1.5 seconds back now.
It does seem like the BMW is enjoying the straights here, because of course it has got a bit of a straight line advantage, hasn't it? So it is enjoying the straights. But the Astra, one of the slowest on the straights, it has to be said, seems to be going quite nicely at this circuit. So is it just that front end paying dividends when it comes to the side sort of turn 1 and 2 and also the chicane there at the top of the hill?
Best front end turning. There's Chris looking on the inside of Alex here, but thinks the best of it and rather get that slipstream down the long straight, which, like I said, the BMW's certainly enjoying. Let's see if, as he flashes light, you see the interface on the steering wheel flickering there. Does it? They're quite similar, but he has a look, not quite diving on the brakes, not brave enough just yet. Alex just takes normal line, just like, he's not there really, he's just doing his own race. But he goes wide again. It's interesting to see the different lines. Can't see Alex at the moment, but he is to the right. There he is, back in front. He brakes later. Will Chris try the cut back? Let's think about it. Yeah, he's definitely thinking about it. Alex keeps a tight line, but that's how Chris to have a run on him. Looking into the left-hander here. Ooh, slight touch there. But Chris can't find a way to get through at the moment. This must be really frustrating for him, because it does look like he has the better pace at the moment.
It does seem to be the case at the moment, but they are very evenly matched, I'd say, as well. So if Chris does find a way through, you can expect Alex to be all over the back once again. And now Alex is going very defensive in the chicane. Will Chris try and get a better exit? He's trying to wrong foot Alex as they go through that chicane there. And he has got a really good exit here into the last corner. Is this a place where Chris can make a manoeuvre? We saw it against Roger the Dodger earlier on, where they went side by side then down the straight. Oh, he's trying it again, Chris. He does like that manoeuvre through that corner, it seems. And now they are side by side once again, going down the straight here over the start-finish line. We have to see how this pans out into turn 1. There's Stuart Davis in the orange BMW in the background there, catching up to this little scrap. So he'll be hoping that they scrap for a little bit longer. And now hard on the brakes into turn 1 as Chris Doherty with the inside line. Alex is trying to get the cut back here, and he's going to try and go over that little bit of rally cross across the beach there. But it's okay, he didn't cut it too much, and Chris Doherty now has got the inside line once again for turn 3 there. So you can do that, it seems, into turn 1. It's a good place to defend. Oh, Alex trying to go around the outside as we run right on board as Stu. You can see up ahead there, Alex was trying to go right around the outside there. Didn't seem to work though in that corner that time, so he'll have to try and get the momentum onto this back straight again. As Stuart Davis now is hoping he can release his BMW power onto that back straight.
Yeah, it looks like whoever's behind the other person in that personal little battle between Alex and Chris seems to be less under pressure, so it's so close between them. And then this one here, Stu Davis in the BMW, he'll just be looking as Chris goes not quite as defensive as he was before, but just enough to hold Alex off. But like you said, Stu will be watching this, and Alex gets a great run off to the corner. Did Chris make a mistake? Was Alex going to try and do what Chris did, get the cut back, tighter line maybe? No, Chris gets a excellent drive out the corner, but obviously slipstream comes to effect here, and these two will have to worry about that mightily fast BMW on the straight soon, because he's really closing in at some rate of knots at this point.
Yeah, this is fast becoming a three-way scrap, and look at Alex trying to go right round the outside. He's got the inside line for turn 2, but he has to back out of it there to avoid running straight into the side of Chris Doherty's car, and the two Astros get out of the corner safely with the BMW right over the tail of them now. But yeah, like you say, Alex, in the back straight on this lap, expect that BMW to be all over these two. It's got definitely a better straight line advantage on the straight over the Astra, but it's just a question of whether Stewart now can follow close enough through these next couple of corners, and these two are just watching each other at the moment. But Alex Edel must see that big orange thing appearing and looming ever closer in his wing mirrors and think, I need to get past this this green Irishman here if I can. And they're going onto the back straight now, so let's have a look, see what happens. Heading up to the chicane is Alex Edel with the inside line. Chris Doherty's left the door open here, and Alex dives down the inside hard on the brakes here. Chris tries to go around the outside, side by side through the chicane, and Chris Doherty, fantastic manoeuvre there on Alex Edel, and that's really wrong-footed him now, because now Stuart Davis is right in the mix. He's in the inside, it's almost three abreast going around the last corner, and Chris Doherty's got the advantage over these two now, and now the two teammates, has to be said, in the team championship, Stuart Davis and Alex Edel are side by side. Chris Doherty though is trying to box Stuart Davis in there. Stuart's clearly got the pace in that BMW to just drive straight through these two Astras, and there's three abreast coming into turn 1. This is absolutely incredible racing, and Stuart Davis drifting that BMW in. Chris Doherty has got a slightly poor exit there with Alex Edel trying to use the cutback, and he's got back past Stu, who ran really wide there to Stuart Davis, and it's pretty much as you were.
Yeah, that's a hectic few bits as Alex trying to run the outside again. He's not very successful there, but these three battling, it's causing him to lose a second a lap on the rest of the field. The rest of the field pretty much doing 118s, 117s. They're from Sabrosa. And these guys are in the 119s, 120s, so it shows how bad battling for all these laps can do, but it got to be said, they must be having great fun behind the wheel, and they want to be ahead of this pack. See, Alex gets a better run out of that corner onto the straight, and he's doing the same thing as before. Chris will brake a bit later, try to go around the outside. Looks like he's out-braked himself there. Yeah, he's gone straight on. Will he be naughty and try to keep place? Looks like it, but he might have to give that back unless he says Alex was only alongside. Here comes that BMW again, down the big straight. Then they get a good exit off the corner. Yeah, that BMW gets a fantastic exit off the corner. They use the slipstream from his teammate Alex here. That should slingshot him alongside. Oh, Alex closes him off. He closes him off, his own teammate, into Chris. He doesn't want him to get past. He wants to beat him at this race. That was very close. That could have been a big accident. Oh, Chris goes quite deep, but he'll get the cutback. Oh, he's jumping across the gravel. That's going to let Stu. Oh, Stu's around into the barrier. Oh no, he's an innocent victim there. If all says they all got a bit caught up.
Yeah, well, you say innocent victim. I think it was all fair there, to be honest. They were all just scrapping away. I think it was inevitable something was going to happen eventually. I was going to say that it's incredible nothing has happened, but switching to the leader now, Joe Brown, who's just dominated this race pretty much, although Scuderia Sam has kept him pretty honest, has to be said, in that BMW there. He's only a second or so back, but he just hasn't had the pace here to challenge this man, and Joe Brown's controlled the race really nicely, hasn't put a foot wrong. He's come under some slight pressure, but he's not made any mistakes, and he exits the final corner now. And a fantastic win for Joe Brown. Absolutely crushing win there, has to be said, in the end. Scuderia Sam just pushing for all he was worth to try and nip the win there, but he didn't quite manage it. And now the battle of a third has been anyone's guess all through this race, and it looks like Chris Doherty has just about got the advantage over Alex Edel. He has, as they come across the line now, and Chris Doherty nicks third there from Alex Edel, with Stuart Davis there recovering to fifth after that little spin. It could have been the podium for Stu there, but what a scrap that was. Really enjoyed that one. It looks like the drivers did too.
Yeah, great scrap. It was almost for half a length. You see Sabrosa come over in 6th heats. Doesn't have to pit for the next one. Closely followed by Rogers, so Pearson trying to get second place of the championship, but down in 7th, but I think he might have pitted. Well, yeah, definitely pitted with his incident with Chris earlier on, as we see the results of race 1.
Yeah, pretty much the top 5 will have to pit in race 2, won't they, Alex? So Sabrosa, Roger the Dodger will definitely, they won't have to pit. Luke McGee, I'm not sure actually on Luke McGee, and Fregazel. Normally he likes to run long in race 1, doesn't he? But I think he might have pitted in this one, and Crunky retired, so he'll be hoping for a better race in race 2 coming up soon with a random starting grid. What did you make of that race though? That was fantastic, I thought, for third.
Yeah, great race. It was really pretty much the highlights were just Chris, Alex and Stu's battle for the second half of the race, but as we see now, like you said, top 5 pretty much have to pit in race 2, and the rest of the field don't. So that's a big advantage to them, and big advantage for Sabrosa and Roger.
Yeah, I think you can expect to see those two battling at the front, but we'll have to wait and see how the grid pans out, because the BMWs have been extremely fast all season long off the start line there, and it's quite a long run as well down into turn 1. So wherever the BMWs are, you can expect them to be challenging, I think, as they head into turn 1. So here comes race 2. Let's see what happens. It's Joe Brown starting in pole position again by the looks of it, with Cronky alongside there in second, Roger third, Frigazell fourth, and off they go. It's pouring smoke off the back of Joe Brown's car. Got a bit of wheel spin there, and it's Cronky straight into lead, pretty predictably, has to be said. And it's Joe Brown following Roger the Dodger there, line astern, and in the background, Luke McGee getting a little bit squirrely, and that's Roger trying to get third there off Joe, with Scuderia Sam right round the outside in the BMW now, and Joe Brown has to give up on fighting the lead there with Cronky, who's now into the lead, and then it's all kicking off now, and Scuderia Sam and Luke McGee and Chris Doherty all side by side. It's a drive-through penalty for Luke McGee for jumping the start. Maybe that's why he looks a bit squirrely, a little bit anxious there, knowing that he was having to go on the naughty step. And that's Cronky now trying to defend his lead from Roger the Dodger, who's really had a great start, and he's up ahead now of race 1 winner Joe Brown, with Scuderia Sam in fourth, just ahead of Luke McGee and Chris Doherty. Then comes Alex CL, Stuart Davis, Subrosa and Frigazell. Subrosa's not had a really good start here, and he'll have to really pick his way through the field. Well, he's pretty much won the championship already, so I think everything is just a bonus for him now. And Roger the Dodger, though, he's really got PTCC down in his sights for second in the title, so he's going absolutely all for it as they head through the tricky little chicane now at the end of lap 1, coming into the last corner. And what do you make of the start there? Oh, Joe Brown's in the pits. That's too early. He's going to get a penalty for that.
Yeah, that's a bit of a mistake there from Joe. That's going to cost him big time. But usually it's a 30-second penalty, I think, for if you do that. As these two are battling again, Alex and Stu. They're holding up Sabrosa behind them in his normal livery. Lee likes to change it sometimes. Alex going around the outside. You just see how much better the brakes are on that compared to the BMWs. The BMW flies over that curb in there, and that's allowed the round to get alongside. But yeah, the great start to race 2. Some of the cars you'd expect to go a bit further up the field, like the BMWs, didn't seem to really get away as well as you'd think. But basically, one of the BMWs that did get away very well is Cronky in that yellow Pirelli car from Roger, from Chris. So Chris in third again. He's really enjoying it around here. It's not the strongest track for the Astros, but he seems to be definitely doing well, and it's pretty much a field of 7 for the lead, you could say, at this point.
Yeah, rising on board now with Chris Doherty. Oh, he's got very close to the back of Roger. Oh, and he hits the race leader Cronky out of the lead. He goes spinning around the Scuderia Sam through into the lead, and that's Subrosa recovering as well with Stuart Davis through. Oh, it's very unfortunate there. Chris Doherty just missing his braking point, and there are loads of drivers now diving into the pit scene. This is a time to make your pit stop, and Cronky must be absolutely gutted with that one after being taken out by Roger, I think it was in race 1, and now we were taken out again by Roger, but it wasn't Roger's fault. It was Chris Doherty just missing his braking zone. Oh, it's absolutely heart-wrenching stuff, that. And Roger the Dodger's all over the place here, just ahead of Subrosa. Scuderia Sam finds himself in the lead, but with a pit stop to go, so the battle really is between Roger and Subrosa, I think, here, with Frigazell up there in fourth, and 30-second time penalty for Joe Brown, rather predictably. And the two teammates now, Stuart Davis and Alex, in the pits. I think there's somebody else possibly in the pits too.
Yeah,
so
Chris.
It's absolutely Chris, is it? It's absolute chaos in the pits at the moment, Alex.
I wonder if Alex has screwed his teammate. He has. He's Chris. Stu had to slow down for his pit to allow Alex to get into his pit stall. That allowed Chris to close up and not stop us. It looks like Cronky's pulled off there. I wonder if he's disconnected. But yeah, Alex doing no favours for his teammate again, and that's allowed Chris to jump him in the pits. So you see Roger now looking for the lead all over the back of that BMW. You'd think the BMW pulled it away as down the inside Roger goes. Nice clean move there, makes the corner as well. That was great overtaking skills there from Roger. And as you see, Sam now had enough. He's pulling away and he's going to leave Subrosa and Roger to battle out for the lead.
Yeah, so it's gloves off now, these two. It's a race to the checkered flag here. Still early days in this one, between the man in first position in the championship and who has won this championship. Congratulations to Subrosa. It's not official yet, of course. He could still get banned or something in the next round. But assuming he doesn't do anything silly, he will win this championship, because mathematically Roger the Dodger in second will not be able to catch him now. But Roger will win a proof of point here, and he's in first at the moment, with Frigazell haven't been on the podium at the moment. We'll see if he can stay there. Scuderia Sam is in the pits. Let's see where he comes back out. Lupin McGee will be coming down the pit straight any second now. There he is, the Flying Scotsman, into fourth now. Joe Brown, where is he? Is he going to flash through? Yes, he is. There's Joe Brown. And this is the train of cars here, which were all battling in race 1. Alex CDL, Chris Doddy and Stuart Davis will all be battling together, and possibly with Scuderia Sam too, so that could be very entertaining.
Yeah, especially with the history of these guys that have all 4 of them. Where are they at the moment? They're a bit in their own group compared to the other guys, so if they get into a battle, it'll pretty much just be for top, well, who's just outside the top 5. It's talking about, and we have Roger and Sabrosa super close at the moment. Sabrosa will love that slipstream, and if anything, that Renault's a bit quicker down the straight, but it turns out the Mercedes is quite nimble, and not many people surprised that. And you can see just how close Sabrosa is catching up there. I think he might have upset his own braking, but talking about upsetting their braking, Roger going quite deep, locking the wheels up. It's easy to do in that Mercedes, as the brakes are quite sensitive, and you see the Renault looking left, looking right. We'll try it out on the outside. That's a brave move. No one's made it so far. Alex tried it a couple of times in race 1, and again, doesn't seem to be the right idea, but I guess it shows the driver in front you have intentions to get past him at some point.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? It's about making yourself as big as possible in your rivals' mirrors up ahead, so that they absolutely know you're there, and they're not looking at their braking points, and they're looking at you instead. And maybe that will force him into a mistake, although Roger the Dodger is absolutely rock solid usually when he's defending his positions, just as he's overtaken as well. Actually, we've seen some fantastic overtaking manoeuvres from Roger, as I think there's Lupin McGee going up on 2 wheels nearly there, battling away with Joe Brown. This is for 4th and 5th, and Joe Brown takes that position away round the outside there of Lupin McGee. The race 1 winner now is up into 4th position, and Lupin McGee will be looking in his mirrors now soon, because he'll have Scuderia Sam and Alex CDL and Chris Doherty and Stuart Davis coming at him now. But we've seen how fast Lupin McGee is on some tracks too, so we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. Meanwhile, the battle for first is really heating up now. Roger the Dodger wanting to prove a point to the newly crowned champion Subrosa, and kicking up some dirt there, going over the sort of rallycross style, like you said earlier, Alex. But I don't know, I can't pick between those two, to be honest. It's going to be fascinating to see what happens towards the end of this race with those two.
Yeah, you'd have to imagine on form at the moment is Roger and that Mercedes. He's really come back towards the end of the season, but like I said, it's anyone's game, and at the moment it looks like Alex is chasing Scuderia Sam down really hard, and same thing for Stu and Chris. They're battling over 8th place. They probably wouldn't have imagined they'd be battling down there at this point, but I guess that's what the random pit stops do. We go on board the bump of Sabrosa, looking around the outside again. I don't think that'll work, but he'll try it. Brakes quite deep there. Now that's just going to give the momentum to Roger, who can take a nice easy line there. And he's lost a bit. You have to say
that the Renault has probably been on balance the best car in this championship, hasn't it? But Roger's just absolutely found fantastic pace out of that Merc.
Yeah, fair play to Roger. It was the Mercedes wasn't really the most appreciated car at the start of this championship, but you'd have to say it's probably changed a few people's minds towards the end of it. I think a few of the BMW drivers would be glad to get out of that car compared to the Mercedes. But yeah, he's done really, really well. It's just a shame he didn't have more competition in the Mercedes championship. As we see Scuderia Sam, we did see Scuderia Sam, they're going through the chicane, and Sabrosa's closing up. He just seems to be getting closer and closer each lap, but Roger's doing so well, but they'll have to get around Cronky in 10th place, so getting past a lap car can be easy, but it can also be quite difficult, as we have seen, and especially when they're doing that, going on to the grass, both flashing is almost in sync there, as they get around nice and easy. He's gotten out of the way, sort of, we hope. Inside line, have they got around him? Yeah, he breaks out the way. I think
it's heavy stuff.
Yeah, I think the camera made it look worse than it was, but hasn't lost Sabrosa too much time at the moment. So as long as he doesn't get too involved and try to unlap himself, it should be good going for the second half of the race.
Yeah, well, sadly for Cronky, I mean, he was leading this race, wasn't he? And through no fault of his own, he was just rear-ended, and now he's a bit over it. Well, he's lapped, isn't he? And he's a long way behind Stuart Davis, this man here, who's in ninth position at the moment, chasing after Chris Doherty. So Cronky really hasn't got anyone to race with in this one, I think. So he's just trying to come home in 10th for a few points, maybe in the championship, and yeah, he wasn't going to get too involved, was he, with those leaders there, and they've resumed their battle now. But he is staying with them, look, so it shows the pace that he's got. Actually in this, and it would have been interesting to see where he would have been without that incident earlier on.
Yeah, like I said, it's a bit of a shame, but I think he had to pit anyway, so that could be why he's so far down at the moment. But he really gels well with that BMW. Seen at Brands Hatch Indy, he was the highest qualified BMW there by quite a bit, and same with a couple of the other races he's entered. So they're looking good for the next championship if he decides to enter that one.
Yeah, certainly. Let's hope so. Look at this, how close it's getting now. Oh, Sabrosa tried to go around the outside there of Roger. Roger was absolutely having none of it and just shoved Sabrosa off wide. If you go around the outside like that, you can expect to be forced off wide. But, you know, it's hard but fair racing as Cronky's all over the back of Sabrosa now. It's been making him very nervous indeed, I would have thought. And he'll actually be going down the inside here because that BMW is such a rocket on the straight. It's down the inside. Sabrosa's flashing his lights, thinking, get out of it. Oh, it's getting very hairy here. And Cronky's decided to have a little bit of fun by the looks of it. But he's backed out of it now. He could have easily dived down there if he wanted to. I think he was just maybe making Sabrosa sweat a little bit. But Sabrosa's on his way again now, and Roger the Dodger has got a lovely comfortable, well, I say comfortable, 0.7 second margin now. But that's pretty comfortable compared to what it's been for the rest of this race. Oh, and look, side by side now the two Astras. That's the Welshman and the Scotsman getting involved there with Luke McGee, who's been pushed back down to 7th now. He's been passed by Scuderia Sam and Alex. CDL there, and he's down to 7th, and those two have just got ahead, and soon he'll be looking in his mirrors if he's not careful, with Chris Doherty and Stuart Davis coming at him, but they're battling hard too.
Yeah, really battling hard. I think you said earlier it wouldn't be too long till Lupi was in the mix with these battling, but Sam's desperate to get away from Alex, and he's got a little cushion at the moment, but not much, and it looks like Joe Brown's finally got past Freegazel, but as long as Freegazel can keep with him, that's still a podium from us. Remember, Joe's got a penalty at the moment, and Sabrosa look around the outside. That's very brave, and will he get the run on him? It looks like he will. It's side by side, it's long straight, and we know that Renault's really fast going into the first corner, but if Roger's brave, he might be able to outbrake him. Yeah, it looks like he is. Will he go deep? It's going to be hard. Oh, he goes very, very deep. Gets the inside line though, goes rallycross out over there, and he keeps the lead for now, but that Renault's going to be great off the corner. And as remember, Sabrosa's got the inside line. Roger will have to be brave, try around the outside, but as we know, it doesn't really work unless he gets the cut back. Looks like Sabrosa's gone a bit deep. Roger looking on the inside, he's got the cut back, but Sabrosa will have the inside line again, so he'll have to try the tricks once more. I think if you're Roger, you'll have to settle to go behind him and then try and get him on the straight, try and get that slipstream. Look at that run Roger's getting out of it, and Cronky's got a great view of this. Roger looking on the inside. I'm surprised Sabrosa's letting him have that unless he's planning the corner ahead. Which is smart driving really, because he can get the defence ready, and he might even do what Roger did before and just push him wide, but he'd be glad this isn't Austria, otherwise that'd be a 5-second penalty. And it looks like Sabrosa's kept the lead.
Yeah, it was fantastic driving from Sabrosa there. Wrong-footed Roger the Dodger into turn 1, made him lock up there and then just nicked the place back. But you can see how great this track is for switchbacks and side-by-side action. They were pretty much fighting the whole way round that lap there. But now Roger the Dodger has got something to think about. Well, not just that yellow machine in the background who he's having to defend from, but he's got to think about Sabrosa there, trying to get back past him and how he's going to go about that with only a couple of laps left to go. Sabrosa's timed that quite nicely, it has to be said. And these two now are absolutely locked in a duel still. And talking of duels, got Alex Idil bearing down now on the back of Scuderia Sam. He's had the pace of Scuderia Sam all race, and a slight pace advantage has to be said. But he just hasn't been able to get in a position to overtake yet, because Scuderia Sam's just absolutely trying to run away from him as much as he can, trying to lose that slipstream. It's like a bad nightmare for him at the moment with that orange machine chasing after him.
Yeah, relax. Oh, that's a big dive. It's a very big dive. Oh, back straight into the back of him. That's not what we want. Alex does try to help him a bit there, but that's allowed Loopy back through. So Loopy would be smiling and cheering as he go past him. Probably hit the bagpipes as well as he went. But that's allowed Chris to close up really nicely now, and the chaos of race 1 looks like it's going to resume into race 2 now with a couple of laps left.
Yeah, it's just Alex Idiella just misjudging his braking zone slightly. We've seen it a lot in turn 1 from a lot of drivers. It's a very tricky turn 1, so it's understandable, but Luke McGee, like you say, would be laughing at that, and I don't think he'll have too much sympathy as he runs away there in 5th, and you can see Free Gazelle just up ahead of him too. So this is going to get very tasty on the last lap here with Free Gazelle only a few seconds up the road, and it's really concertinaing up nicely here and really set up nicely for the last lap. Scuderia Sam now going defensive from Alex EDL there. Oh, Alex EDL tries to switch back and he's got him, I think. Scuderia Sam was slightly nudged and he's off the track, comes back on it, and Alex EDL's got that position away now, and Chris Doherty's all over the back of Scuderia Sam to go around the last corner and making slight contact. These two are teammates in the team's championship, of course, so they don't want to take each other out, especially with the other teammates just all about them there, with Stuart Davis all over the back and Alex EDL just up ahead. And this is a fantastic scrap.
Yeah, it's really good scrap. Probably 4 of the oldest drivers in the league at the moment in terms of joining it. Oh, that's a big dive from Chris. He just shoves Alex out of the way. That's going to let the BMW through, is it? No, it's definitely let Sam through. But Alex fights back and he gives Chris a very big shove onto the grass. Have that, it says, as Chris bounces across the grass. Stu still can't get past him. He has to wonder what he'll have to do. Chris are back up the inside. That's pushed Alex out wide, and his teammate has to avoid him just quickly there. Sam's going to scarper away a bit as we see Joe and Roger across the line. They're very close together, but not true, sorry. I suppose as Cronky gives Roger a bit of a biff for there. But back to the battle for 6th place. You wouldn't think that with these guys, and looking away now at Loopy, I think Free Gazelle's just got him. Going into the old haven. Oh, he's having a look. Oh, and they collide. They're round. Will these guys get past? Sam's through safely. What about the others? It looks like Chris through safely through the time shot. Oh, it's still carrying on. Free Gazelle's around. With Alex down to 8th now, and looks like Loopy and Stu will have a drag race to the line. But I think Loopy will just have that, and it was chaos those last 2 corners.
Yeah, and some wild celebrations kicking off there. But yeah, that was absolutely great racing for the last lap there between a few of the stalwarts of the championship. Like you said, Alex, they've been around for a while and showing how it's done there. That some of that racing was absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, Free Gazelle came off quite bad there. He was in 3rd, wasn't he? All the way back down to 9th position. We have to remember Joe Brown there in 3rd has got 30-second penalty, so that'll put him back quite a bit with all those cars so close behind there. A big train of cars fighting away. But it's Sabrosa who has won the championship, and he won that race just ahead of his nearest challenger, Roger the Dodger, who now finds himself in 2nd position. BTC Sedan has a lot of work to do if he wants to try and get that back. In fact, he'll be looking in his mirrors at the Irishman of Chris Doherty and D-Man, who was not present at that round. Scuderia Sam now moves up into 6th ahead of the Stuart Davis in that BMW battle. With Alex DL and Luke McGee not far behind at all, and Joe Brown as well finds himself a little bit in no man's land there in 10th position. He has missed a few of the rounds, and the manufacturers stand in so very close as well, Alex.
Yeah, obviously Sabrosa's won the Renault one. Chris has got a bit of a lead over D-Man, like you said. D-Man had to miss this round, but Alex could nip 2nd if he beats him in both rounds in Brands Hatch. Obviously it's still really close in the BMW battle between Stu and Scuderia Sam. There's a bit of a gap now between them, but it's all to play for, and obviously in the Mercedes, Rogers won that by a country mile.
Yeah, and in the team standings, it's Scuderia Chris with a fantastic point, so really puts them in the box seat there to take the team's championship at the final round next time out, with Alex and Stu their 2nd. Just ahead of big bad BTC who weren't present at all in that round, actually, I don't think, were they? So yeah, anyway, that was fantastic racing tonight, and it is only 1 round to go now in the Touring Car Championship. Some will be disappointed with that, and some will be very relieved indeed, but we'll have to wait and see how it all shapes up. So don't forget to join us next time out at Brands Hatch Indy, where we'll see how it all pans out after a couple of months of racing, and it should be very exciting indeed. So Alex and I can't wait to see you there.